Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you all a very sad story. But before we get into that sad story, I want to say my late thanks to my new patrons, Ginose, Mr. Megiddo, and Samuel. You are fantastic. This sad story involves the video game Insomniac Spider-Man, which you can check out my review on it linked down below. In Insomniac Spider-Man, there is an Easter egg that you can find on this particular street right here, in case you want to find it yourself in the game, but you have to hurry up before Insomniac patch it up. In this particular street, you will find a movie theater with a film titled Maddie, Will You Marry Me? Now that might sound like something very innocent and heartwarming, but there's actually a little bit of backstory in that Easter egg. You see, the Easter egg is meant to be for a fan named Tyler Schultz. Tyler is a Spider-Man fan and he wanted to propose to his girlfriend. He wanted to do it in a big way, so he asked Insomniac to put his wedding proposal in a video game. Insomniac said yes, and there you go. We have the Easter egg right there. Not much of a problem, right? Well, it turns out that the wedding proposal turned into a really sad story, as Tyler uploaded a video saying that he broke up with his girlfriend just before he can show this Easter egg to her. Here's what he had to say.
The thing that sucks about this Easter egg is the date that I'm making this video now, 3-4 weeks ago. My girlfriend dumped me to go with my brother, basically throwing away the 5 years that we had together.
Whew, boy, Tyler, your girlfriend ended up dumping you to go out with your brother? This girlfriend of yours doesn't sound like a nice person. I want to air my comments on... Wait, what? Why do you have your comments disabled? Well, that's just one side of the story. Houston Press did an interview with the girlfriend Madison Gamble and revealed her own side of the story. Madison and Tyler have been in a relationship for more than 5 years. They began their relationship when they were 15 years old, and it was a pretty happy relationship for a long time. But a year ago, she realized that she wasn't very happy. And the reason is because Tyler has done things that she shouldn't have forgave him for. She kept going because she really wanted to make the relationship work, but the relationship kept having mental and physical issues. The proposal that he thought is gonna save the relationship doesn't actually go very well on her because she doesn't like video games. She never liked video games and she sat through video games because she loved him. The relationship has turned from a normal romantic partner relationship to a mother and son relationship, as he had to constantly remind him of the most basic things in life, like financial mistakes, violent outbursts, etc. They never even had times where they looked like legit romantic partners. She told him in July that he had a month to change her mind, but it didn't happen. It is a challenge to just keep pestering the man-child that is Tyler to get off his bed or stop playing video games. Now remember that part where Tyler said that she has a relationship with his half-brother instead? Well, she make it as if it's his fault, as Tyler kept asking him to check up on her, and thus they got even closer because Tyler refuses to pay attention to his girlfriend, or at least according to her. The reason for her leaving is not really because of his brother, but mostly because of Tyler. Like, damn, dude, this would be a really good cautionary tale for those of you who are nerds and have girlfriends or boyfriends. Pay close attention to your significant others and actually care about your relationship instead of having someone else do it for you. You can't just substitute yourself. That would be missing the entire point. This isn't a freaking football game. It's a relationship between partners. But I don't want to comment any further because it's a personal drama. I honestly don't know who's telling the truth here. Is this the story of an irresponsible boyfriend not paying attention to his girlfriend enough and therefore damaging their relationship? Or is this the story of a girlfriend making up lies about his boyfriend to date his brother? I do see the arguments of both sides of the coin, but regardless of which one is the truth, I still want to ask the question to the writer of the Houston Press article. What the hell does this entire drama have to do with Gamergate? No, seriously, of all the events to push your political agendas, this sad and depressing story is the one that you're gonna use? How about you use it to tell a cautionary tale for all the current and future lovers out there? Nah, let's talk about something as irrelevant as freaking Gamergate. After describing the full story, the Houston Press article continues like this.
I was immediately suspicious of the story in a post-Gamergate world, assuming that we are post, taking any supposedly heartbroken male gamer at his word over something like this is rather naive.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's somehow connect this to Gamergate because Gamergate is a freaking lovers' quarrel drama.
Remember, Gamergate began its life as a harassment campaign thanks to a heavily workshopped blog post by Aaron Gajoni falsely accusing his ex-girlfriend Zoe Quinn of various sins.
No. Writer, stop. Stop right there. How can people still believe that Gamergate is a harassment campaign to drive women out of gaming? We have moved on from this entire debacle. This is a thing in the past. For the love of God, stop. This event has nothing to do with Gamergate. It's a tragic love story that serves as a cautionary tale to everyone. It's a story that I think we can take notes from and learn so that we can be better romantic partners. Like, for example, don't date your boyfriend's brother right after the breakup, jeez! But no, you use this story to push the agenda that Gamergate is a harassment campaign, started off by a disgruntled ex-boyfriend. You make it seem that we gamers care about this stupid love drama when we actually care more about the unethical practices that Aaron Gajoni exposed within the gaming industry related to Zoe Quinn. The entire reason why Gamergate started is because of the unethical practices that several journalists have done related to her text adventure game Depression Quest, but you dismiss it as, oh, they're just falsely accusing his ex-girlfriend. Say what you want about Tyler and his behaviors, but to say that he is remotely comparable or similar to this stupid freaking drama is downright delusional and insane. Of all the things to politicize, you decided to use someone else's tragedy to push your political agenda. Writer, you are scum. And that's just the beginning.
Public proposals can be very manipulative. They put the recipient in a spot where refusal becomes a public counterattack, or in Gamble's case, a post-relationship smear. Dean Burnett, writing on the subject for The Guardian, said, "This is a world where women can be vilified for refusing the sexual advances of a stranger, so actively rejecting someone you're committed to could be far worse again."
Are you assuming that most people who do public proposals are evil? Are you assuming that they're doing it for malicious intent? Are you saying that Tyler is doing it for malicious intent? You said that they can be, but is Tyler being manipulative? Also, women are vilified for refusing sexual advances of a stranger. What world are you living in? I'm very sure that people don't like it when women are being sexually harassed. Also, please define sexual advances. The writer links to an article written in The Guardian talking about how public proposals, while very sweet and beautiful, can be seen as unwarranted coercion because there's a lot of pressure from the public to make sure that the one being proposed say yes so that they can get the happy ending. Now, there is a point to this entire conversation and I can see where the writer is going, but do you seriously think that people doing public proposals are being manipulative and evil? Can people be like this? Sure, but are there people like this? No, not to most people for sure. This isn't a cynical view, this is a misanthropic view. Then the writer decided to pull off some of the most god-awful take that I've seen in a while. Then again, this is The Guardian, so I don't really expect much. I really wanted to stop reading the moment the writer said that the notion that men had to propose first is a sexist idea. Wait a second, writer, since you say that women should also get to propose first, does that mean you also say that women are capable of using public proposals to manipulate men? Nah, this is The Guardian, where women did nothing wrong. It's the men who are at fault. The article then literally says that men are rational creatures, except when they comment about feminism online. No man shall ever criticize feminism, because every criticism of feminism by men is just irrational. Like, Jesus Christ, writer.
I got beat up by an apparition of Gloria Steinem.
Who are you calling an apparition?
He then dismissed the notion that public proposals are more romantic because it makes you more committed to your partner. Like, wow, this is the most depressing take of public proposal that I've ever seen. I honestly don't care about the article's content at this point. I just want to see the writer to get some therapy. Finally, the article talks about how public proposals can be seen as a method of coercion due to public pressure from all the observing strangers. The Guardian posted a really harsh and cynical, if not misanthropic article about public proposals that would have delivered its points much better if the writer just talked about the public pressure. But no, the writer had to insert his own politics to the mix. This would have been much better if this isn't being put on a freaking science page. Shouldn't this be on culture or opinion or lifestyle? And while we're on the subject of opinions, can they be less freaking garbage? Can you share opinions that doesn't make you look like a freaking misanthropic douchebag? I do see the point of public proposals being seen as coercion. It's a really damn misanthropic view and it assumes huge malice towards the proposer, but I can see that perspective. But for crying out loud, stop being a condescending snob about it. But then again, this is a Guardian article. Every article from them is written by condescending snubs. You said it, Elon. Anyway, let's get back to Spider-Man.
It was incredibly kind-hearted of Insomniac to offer to be a part of the fairy tale, but it's worth remembering that in a proposal, there are two people involved. According to Madison, Tyler's stunt was a desperate ploy to save a disintegrating relationship in a way he felt was appropriate, rather than actually listening to his girlfriend and trying to repair the damage.
Well, that's your take, and I do agree in some respect. I do see that Tyler's proposal felt like it was for himself, rather than for his girlfriend. I do agree that he should focus more on repairing his relationship, which has deteriorated for the past year. I do agree that Tyler should understand and consider the feelings of his girlfriend more, and that is assuming that Madison is the one telling the truth, which we don't really know. Still, how is all of this related to Gamergate?
Worse, video game journalism has unethically reprinted his accusation that Gamble left him for his brother without seeking comment from the other party. One look at the Kotaku Facebook page under the story reveals a rich vein of misogyny and hatred for Madison.
Whoa, wait a second. You're telling me that Kotaku's audiences are filled with misogynists? That's a very interesting take. Now, Kotaku has their own take on this entire thing, but believe it or not, their take is significantly milder. The writer doesn't insert his political opinions, and it actually talks about the event without any sort of spin. The article even updates the story accordingly as new facts emerge from the entire event. So I decided to visit a Facebook page that the writer linked to see these horrendous and misogynistic comments from the Kotaku article. That, ladies and gentlemen, is fake news to the nth degree, because it mostly consists of people pressing F to pay respect. I really don't see any sexist and misogynistic comment, unless if the writer is saying that pressing F to pay respect is a sexist, misogynistic comment. The darkest but admittedly freaking hilarious take is by this person over here saying, hey, at least his brother can use the Easter egg. Jesus, Sam. Now, I do have to give credit to the writer of this article. He called out Kotaku and many other outlets for not trying to reach the girlfriend in question and not trying to get her side of the story. And the writer of this article is the first one to actually get her side of the story. So props to you for actually doing some real investigative journalism. It is unfortunate that your take is garbage. What the hell does all of this have to do with Gamergate? Sure, both stories are about disgruntled exes, but that's like saying Cinderella's story is the same as Game of Thrones because they both involve princesses. This article is so poorly written that the writer doesn't really explain it very well. But from what I can gather, I think what the writer's trying to say is the way Tyler talked about his ex-girlfriend on his video has caused a misogynistic outrage similar to that of Gamergate. There are several problems with this point, writer. The misogynistic outrage that you talked about isn't on the link that you cited. Now sure, there are people who said, wow, this Madison girl is a bitch, but if someone tells you that a girl dumps her boyfriend so that she can date his brother, wouldn't you be outraged? I would be outraged. That is a pretty scummy thing to do. And yet I've never seen you comment on this behavior. You mostly commented on Tyler. The way you wrote that paragraph basically says, well, technically she did end up with his brother, but she didn't leave him because of his brother. Yeah, writer, that is still a scummy thing to do, don't you think? Any thoughts on that? I agree that the journalists are at fault for not reporting the story well and not looking for the other side of the argument. I agree that reposting the story verbatim without getting into the girlfriend's side is quite irresponsible. That's one of the many problems that people have with game journalists. These people either refuses to listen to the other side of the argument or they're too lazy to listen to the other side of the argument. This article's bias is slanted towards the girl, which would have been fine if the writer can make good arguments on her case, and there are some good arguments on her case, but the arguments here are terrible. How can you say that Gamergate is a misogynistic campaign to drive women out of gaming while you yourself bring legitimate issues about gaming journalism that people in Gamergate most commonly complain about in the same freaking article? I have never seen such an astonishing display of cognitive dissonance.
So game makers, the next time some lonely man begs you to help publicly manipulate his girlfriend to a
Okay. Stop. Writer, you are scum. You are absolute scum. To think that this well-intentioned Spider-Man fan who just wants to propose to his girlfriend through the medium of his favorite video game, to think that he is a manipulative con, it's a really disgusting thing to say. The fact that you are painting Tyler as this evil, conniving, and manipulative individual is disgusting. He's just a gamer who wants to propose to his girlfriend. He did it poorly. He had several relationship issues. He's being irresponsible about it, but he's not malicious. He's not evil. His video is just him airing his thoughts. Let's criticize his irresponsibility. Let's criticize his poor methods instead of talking about Gamergate of all things. Thankfully, this story ends somewhat bittersweet. Instead of being about him and his girlfriend, Tyler decided to ask Insomniac to have his Easter egg to be dedicated to his deceased grandmother. That shows to me that Tyler's not a perfect guy, but he has a good heart. He's not a terrible person. He makes mistakes, sure. He's being irresponsible, sure, but is he evil? Is he manipulative? This article is just... The only way for you to be more of a douchebag is to post a photo of your child to a self-confessed pedophile.
You two-timing son